Hey guys. Hey y'all. Happy Tuesday. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss the Real Housewives of Orange County, season 18, reunion part 3, and we are finally done. Now, come on in. Hey, come on in, y'all. Let me know that you're in here. First things first, every reunion does not need 3 parts. I was annoyed for the majority of this last part because of Alexis. Alexis wants to be seen so bad. The desperation that is oozed out of her pores. I don't want to see her. Bravo. This was an epic fail having Alexis come back as a friend of. We're tired of her. Hey, y'all, come on in. Yes. Come on in, y'all. Come on in. Come on in. How are y'all feeling? How are you guys doing? How did you guys feel about this last part? Because they could have kept this. I mean, it was okay to me. I feel like, the whole stuff with Alexis and Shannon, Alexis was not needed. Just my opinion. Yeah, part 3 was not needed. Yeah, guys, it was not needed. Jesus Jugs needs to shimmy on out of our lives. Yes. Oh, hey, we're from we have Belize in here. Yes, come on in. Love your review about Potomac. Thank you. I lost all my brain cells. Exactly. Yes, I was screaming when the producer said, "Oh yeah, girl, you ate her all the way up." I said, "Yes, come through, Miss Shannon." Yeah, this reunion was too long. I'm like, because think about it. Orange County has been on since July, like the middle of July, and we are almost in December. This should have been wrapped up a long time ago. This season, it was a great season. OC did that, but it did not need 3 parts. And side note, did anybody catch how Emily did not get a section of her own? Because there's no storyline there and we don't care what she has going on. But I thought it was interesting. It made a whole lot of sense as to why she kept butting in, because she has no story to talk about on her own. But with all that being said, y'all, let's just get right on into it, because you guys already know that we don't have a minute to spare. So we open up this last part with Shannon reading Alexis down, saying, "Well, that's because you're a big TV star." Alexis says, "Girl, I never said I was a TV star, but I was on several shows for the past 15 years. Now, in my last live recap, I asked you guys, what other shows had Alexis been on? Because I don't remember her being on anything else other than OC. You guys informed me that she was on the news. She was on Marriage Boot Camp, Family Edition some years ago, and then she was on something else that I forgot about. But yeah, I had no idea that she was on other things. I just thought that she was on Below Deck when she was with her ex-fiance. I do remember that. And she was really desperate then too. But all in all, Alexis wanted this check. She wants to be relevant again, because we were not checking for her after OC. I know I wasn't. That mouth was running to catch the check. She was. You said she's not tardy. I am here, Brooke, ready to hear your recap. Thank you. She was on Marriage Boot Camp. I haven't seen her on anything else other than RHOC. Yeah, same here. I will give Gina and Emily slight props for having Shannon's back during this reunion. Listen, as much as I can't stand either one of them, I can always give credit where credit is due. Emily reading Alexis down, I was here for it. But other than that, I will never see it from Miss Emily Simpson ever. But she did eat when she said, "Alexis, you're the dumbest girl I've ever met." I said, "Okay, Emily, I'll give you your 10s for that. Whack her again for me." But that's where it starts and stops for me. But it was nice to see Gina and Emily be on the right side of things for once. She had a 10-second cameo in General Hospital playing a news anchor. Oh, okay. I had no idea. That's the reason Emily continued to talk during other segments. Yes, because there was nothing there. Alexis made an absolute fool of herself in this section. Yes, she did. She did. They're giving Emily too much. I'll give you your 8.5s. Yes, honey. 8.5 like Miss Anna Marie from Beverly Hills. Every garbage can needs its lid, and John Janssen found his. Alexis. I know that's right. So Shannon ate down, calling her a TV star. Everybody was gagged. So now we have Alexis says to Shannon that Shannon is bitter. So Shannon says, "Oh my gosh, Alexis, I don't want to talk about you anymore. Like, I'm tired." And one thing about it, Alexis, that is such a lazy read to call Shannon bitter. Let's not act like Shannon is sitting around upset about John and you guys getting together. It's not that. It's the fact that not only are you dating her ex, and that's fine, by the way, you can date whoever you want to date. You and Shannon were not friends, so there is no loyalty there. But for you to rub it in her face, taunt her about it, continue to mention how she's the ex, you're the next, you're bashing her, you're talking about her every chance you get, that's where people get upset. And Shannon has a right to be upset and not be called bitter. I don't like when people weaponize that word. Are there bitter people out there? Yes. But in this case, I would not call Shannon bitter. I would call her justified for being upset, because the way Alexis did her, Alexis taunted her the entire season. So in this case, it's not bitterness. She has the right to be upset with you because you're trying it. And you're trying all of us. You're playing in our faces like we're stupid. But yeah, I didn't like how she called Shannon bitter, because I don't look at Shannon as bitter. I look at her as being taunted and lied about by her ex-boyfriend who's a bum and his new girlfriend who's a pick-me. That's how I see it. Let me know what you guys think. Yup, she's mean and stupid. I can't believe she acts like a teenager at her big age. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Shannon does not care about John or Alexis. She's just saying, don't lie on me. That's it. The only problem Alexis could have ever had with Shannon would be if Shannon was still pursuing John. She didn't. Exactly. So now Alexis has the nerve to say that you're obsessed with us. And Alexis, I just want to ask again, how was Shannon obsessed with you when every scene that you were in, you were talking about Shannon? It was trying to expose Shannon. You were bad-mouthing her, calling her liar face, saying how much that, your man left her and you're the new one and she's upset about it. You talked about Shannon every chance you got. Do not twist it around and act like Shannon was talking about you. Shannon only talked about you because you were talking about her first. That's it, and that's all. Don't try to act like this is some competition and Shannon is shook because you're dating her ex. She's not. She doesn't care. It's so annoying. I don't like that. Alexis is the typical pick-me, desperado who really looks at other women as competition. And she likes all that, feeling like she's better than the next woman. And the thing is, when John plays you next, I don't want to hear it. I won't have any sympathy for you. But this is not a competition. You and Shannon are not in the same league. Like, let's talk about that. So the fact that you want to act like you're better than Shannon, and it's like you're delusional. But let's just call a spade a spade. You were the one who talked about Shannon every chance you got. It was not the other way around. And Shannon only talked about you because you were talking about her. You were threatening to release those videos, talking about this loan. So she had every right to bring it up and say, no, that's not true. But again, you were the one who was obsessed. Oh, we have France in the chat. Yes. Liar face is unoriginal. Yeah, it is. Like, Alexis is she's such a loser. Alexis is a desperado. I'm taking bets on how long that marriage will last. My guess is 2 years. I don't think that they'll make it to the altar. I won't be surprised if they end up breaking up before they get married. Alexis is 47 years old, acting like the high school cheerleader who gloats about stealing another girl's boyfriend. Yes. So now we have, I love how Andy jumped in and said, well, to be fair, John, your new boyfriend, who's her ex-boyfriend, he's suing her. So it would make sense for Shannon to talk about you guys because you guys are trying to sue her and extort her. So now Alexis says, well, no, Shannon talked about John's bad knees and his new teeth. And I said, she made one comment about it. That's it. Like, what are you talking about here? And you talked about her. You talked about her age. You were shading her about how she's so much older than you. She's 60 years old. So you spoke about Shannon as well. Like, Alexis, you're very lucky that Shannon is not a reader, because the way I would have read you for filth, you and John, and his one pair of Ferragamo shoes. Let's talk about that. So now, she goes on to say that he's finally happy with her. I said, okay, girl. Again, women who act like their man is a prize, or men in general are the prizes to be won, there's no reasoning with them. Let them stay over there being desperate, but not us. So Andy reads a viewer question asking, how did Shannon think that John coached Alexis throughout the season? So Shannon says, well, I would like to let Gina answer that, because she spoke to Alexis before and she asked him, she asked him about why he didn't speak to her kindly. Remember, I think that was the season with Noella when John snapped at Gina because Gina and Shannon got into it. She's referring to that. So now they show a clip of Alexis when Heather had that brunch in the first episode, and Gina approaches Alexis about how John snapped at her. And so Alexis says, oh, well, that's because he was hangry. He hadn't eaten yet. So Gina's like, there's always an excuse for this man, and I'm tired of it. So anyhow, Alexis jumps in and says that when she first got with John, there were so many negative things being said about him due to Shannon. So Shannon says, I never badmouthed this man. I was the one defending him. So even Andy interjects and he says, can I just say that the whole issue last season was that Shannon was defending John so much, the other women got upset about it. And they play the clips back, and we do see that last season, Shannon was defending her man, despite them breaking up right after the reunion, but Shannon was defending her man. So Alexis, once again, your argument has no weight. You don't have a leg to stand on, because the same way that you're going hard for your man, Shannon was also defending John too. She never badmouthed him. You just want to paint this narrative of Shannon because you just don't like her. Alexis is a weirdo. Exactly. How did she know that he was hangry 3 years ago? Exactly. It was just so dumb. She was like a fly on the wall the whole time Shannon dated him. Oh, absolutely. That wedding will happen on the third day of the third month of never. So, all throughout the first 20 minutes of this reunion, the last part of this reunion, it was pretty much Shannon and Alexis going at it, with Alexis talking about things that she was not privy to because she wasn't with this man. That's why, Alexis, you look crazy. You are defending a man who you just got with, and you're talking about things that you were not there for. You look ridiculous. So anyhow, Alexis says, Shannon says, the only thing that I told the ladies was that I paid for everything in the relationship for the first half of this relationship. So now you have Heather and Emily. Did you guys hear them? They were shading Shannon about the receipts again. And I just said, why are y'all throwing shade about her receipts being handwritten? Whether it's on an Excel spreadsheet or she wrote them down, they are receipts. She had it's so annoying how Heather and Emily, they want to play both sides of the fence. Because are you with Shannon or are you not? Like, make up your mind. I was irritated in that episode when they were in London and they were laughing at her. I'm like, why are you laughing? She has legit receipts of how she paid for everything in the relationship. What's funny about that? It's just so weird. So now, and y'all know me. Y'all know, first of all, I'm annoyed about this whole entire thing because women should not be paying for a man. If you have a boyfriend or a husband, why are you digging in your wallet? Like that's already backwards. So this whole entire conversation is getting me annoyed because the fact that Shannon was sleeping with a man and paying for stuff, like, girl, are you dumb? Like, you came from a rich family. I know your mom and your dad did not teach you that. So like, what is going on? Like that right there just gets me so irritated, like this whole conversation, because what are you talking about? You as a woman opened up your wallet and you were paying for stuff for a man. Like, girl, and Shannon, you're too old for that. You are 60 years old. This better not happen again. Like, I don't want to hear this. That's what's also so annoying about this whole conversation. Yes, it's very much low self-esteem. So now I lost my place, forgive me. Um Shannon says okay, she says that about she paid for everything. And so she goes on to ask Alexis, what has she said bad about Alexis? So of course, anytime Alexis is called out, she doesn't want to answer the question. So she deflects. She says, well, it's not about me. I said, well, girl, the way you've inserted yourself in this, you're making it look like it is about you. So just answer the question. You have all this smoke and all this hatred for Shannon. So, girl, tell me, what's tea? What are you upset about? I want to know. And the fact that you couldn't answer that shows me that you're a weirdo and you're a follower because you have no reason to hate Shannon. You just want to hate her because you're a weirdo. That's all this is. Yes, paying for his love, a mess. So now Shannon goes on to say that, so Alexis goes on to say that she's in the middle of this because of all the lies that Shannon keeps spreading about John. So Shannon says, again, what are the lies? Can you let me know? Because the only thing that I've said was that I paid for the majority of things in this relationship. And that's a fact. I have the receipts. So now you have Emily jumping in. And while Emily bothered me for the majority of this reunion and while I don't like her, I was here for her jumping in to defend Shannon and let Alexis know that she sounded stupid. So Alexis says, well, Emily, why don't you be quiet, butt out of the conversation? And Emily says, girl, are you serious right now? So now Andy even tells Emily to be quiet. And I said, now, Andy, here's my issue again, because all throughout this reunion, anytime Jen and Katie tried to speak, you kept interrupting. She kept interrupting. We all wanted her to be quiet then, and you said nothing. You allowed Emily to take over the first two parts of this reunion. Now, when Emily actually jumps in and it makes sense for her to jump in, now you want to silence her? Where was all this? Why didn't you tell her to be quiet in the first half of this reunion? Don't let her speak now. You've been letting her interrupt all this time. Let her keep interjecting now. Like, am I the one who's wrong for thinking that? I felt like the time to tell Emily to be quiet was when she was interrupting Jen and Katie. I don't know. I was irritated. Was Emily defending Shannon or just being a jerk? It was a mix of both. She wanted to be seen, but she also was defending Shannon. Emily keeps Shannon from veering off topic. Alexis is low-key desperate to be friends with Shannon. She is. She does want to be friends with Shannon for sure. So now Andy goes on to say, hey, Emily, let her speak. I want to hear her side of things. So Alexis says that her and John did forensic accounting and they did all the numbers and Shannon is lying. So she says, oh, we can compare the numbers. And I said, but once again, why are you involving yourself in this? This is not your battle. The battle is the Lord's. It's not yours. Like, leave it alone. Why do you care so much? And you're going so hard for this man who's about to swindle you too. So again, sis, this pea brain logic, you look ridiculous. If I were Shannon, I would have just shut this whole conversation down by saying, I'm not going to talk to her any longer. You can dismiss her right now, but she will not be getting a response from me. That's how I would have played it. I'm not going to waste precious breath on a weirdo. So now Alexis claims that John, they ran the numbers over and John spent $350,000 in the relationship. I said, how did he spend over $250,000 in that relationship when Shannon has the receipts of how much she spent in that relationship? Shannon bought him Ferragamos. Shannon spent 10 grand on his daughter's birthday trip in Los Angeles. They stayed at a 5-star hotel. She paid for all the dinners, bought all the gifts on her American Express card. So please let me know, how on God's green earth did he spend all that money when Shannon has the records, the receipts, and the numbers and the credit card bills to prove it that she paid for everything? Again, it's not adding up to me. And Alexis, you look really sad to sit up here and conspire with this loser to make Shannon look bad. Hey, Libra girl, thank you for the super chat. Thank you so much. Yeah, what does he do for a living? I don't understand. Um, so now, and so even Andy was confused because he goes on to ask, well, if that's the case, then why didn't he sue Shannon for more money? So Alexis says, well, he just wants the loan back. And all she offered him was 15 grand. So Shannon said, oh, wait, no, wait, here's my thing, right? Alexis, here's how I know you're lying. Because if John actually did spend 350 grand in that relationship and you guys are trying to nail Shannon for lying, wouldn't you have brought the receipts to the reunion? If you're claiming that Shannon is lying about spending money in the relationship, if you claim that you did forensic accounting and it added up to he spent all this money on her, you would have brought these receipts to the reunion and you would have showed Andy and showed the world, right? That's what I would have done. Because if I'm on a show and I made a fool of myself and the fans don't like me, if I claimed that I had all this evidence, I would bring it with me to try to maybe turn the tide around and have people on my side. But that's just me. Everybody does not have common sense. But if what you're saying is true, Alexis, you would have brought these receipts about how much he allegedly spent on Shannon. And I don't remember seeing Shannon with any jewelry or any bags or shoes from John. So I highly doubt that he spent any money on her. I doubt that he even spent $3,000 on Shannon, if we're being honest. So you want to talk about he spent 300 grand on? Stop. I said, girl, if you don't tell that lie to somebody else. And doesn't John live? He lives on that houseboat. And it's no shade to houseboats, but John does not look like he's made of money to me. Just saying. I highly doubt that he spent over 300 grand on Shannon when she was paying for everything. And she has all the money in that relationship. She does look pathetic. It's insane. John and Lexi spending hours going over Shannon. And and I said this before in my previous recaps, any man bad-mouthing his ex like this, that means that he still wants them. Don't let somebody trashing their ex fool you, because when you're over somebody, you're indifferent. You don't have any emotions towards them, good or bad. There's a level of apathy there. The opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of love is indifference. If somebody hates you, you have a better chance of getting back together with somebody who hates you than somebody who's indifferent about you. Because once somebody is indifferent, they do not care. There's nothing there. If somebody hates you, there's feelings there. That's why even as a content creator, you never feel bad about somebody hating you, because they're going to come back to your page and still watch you. When somebody's indifferent about you, that's when you should be nervous. It's like if I do a video and you don't like it, or you don't like what I said and you're like in the comments mad about it. I love that because it's engagement. The worst thing in the world is if somebody says that your video was boring. That's when you should be nervous. But if somebody's mad about what you said, that's great. Like it all goes down the same drain, like, love and hate. But indifference is when you should be nervous. So the fact that this man still has all these feelings towards Shannon, if I were Alexis, I would say shout out to everybody. I had fun, because clearly he still wants her. If he were over Shannon, he would say, oh, I wish her the best. And that's it. We had a great, it's a great run. And that's that. But there's still all these feelings there. And he wants to get her and threaten her with all this and exploit her and do that and that. He still wants her. So Alexis, I'd be nervous if I were you. Just my 2 cents. Yes, love me or hate me, just don't ignore me. Exactly. So now Tamara jumps in, and Tamara says, well, Shannon, if you are willing to pay the full amount, Tamara says, Shannon, why were you willing to pay the full amount if you claim that it's not a loan? So Shannon says, because I know that my legal fees will be more than that. That's why. This is going to be the last time that I say this. You've heard me say this in various recaps, especially throughout this season. If I were Shannon, I would take this to court just off of principle, because I'm not paying a man money. There should be no such thing as a loan if you and a man are romantically involved. I don't care I don't care what you think about that. We can have a difference of opinion, but if you are my man, boyfriend, husband, fiance, we are sleeping together, I dare you to ask me for the gifts back. There's no such thing as a loan. We're not business partners. We are a couple. So just off of that alone, I'm not paying a man back because that was a gift. We were together. Can Shannon get all the sex back? Can she get all the support that she gave him back? Can she get back all the time that she poured into that relationship? No, she can't. That's just as important and just as valuable as money. She can't get that back. She can't take him to court and say, oh, well, I had sex with this man all this time, all these, days and hours. I want that back. They laugh her out of court. I wouldn't be paying, I would not be paying him back. We could take it to court. I don't care. Off of principle, I'm not paying a grown man back that I was with. So it is what it is. I understand, yes, she's paying for peace. I understand. I know that she's settled. You said, Brooke, it's not worth it. You know what? I understand, y'all. I understand what you're saying, but just off of, I would just be so livid. I get what you're saying. She just wants it to be over. But Shannon, next time, please do not get with a stingy man like that. John is proving that he is a stingy, cheap loser because no man worth his salt will be sitting up here trying to get money back from an ex-girlfriend that he gave money to. That's ridiculous. But Shannon learned a tough lesson, didn't she? So Andy reads another viewer question addressing Alexis when she posted her engagement picture. And the viewer points out how when she took the picture, there were like lemons in a bowl. And we know that Shannon is very into feng shui. And she believes in having 9 lemons in a bowl at all times for peace and serenity. And then she points out how the viewer points out how John was wearing the same Ferragamo shoes in the picture of their engagement. So Alexis is like, I don't understand that. What is lemons in a bowl have to do with all that stuff? Like, what's going on? Like, I don't even understand that. And also, he has over 10 pairs of Ferragamo shoes anyway. So Shannon had me screaming. She says, well, he should buy some more pairs and stop wearing the same ones that I bought him. And by the way, Heather, the shoes that I bought him, they were $800, not $375. So you have Alexis. Oh, so then Shannon goes on to say that he had no idea about Ferragamo until he met her. And Alexis says, girl, I buy him shoes all the time that are over $800 and I don't say anything about it. I said, Alexis, you're buying this man shoes? This man who claims to have all this money, you're buying him shoes? Why are you buying, Alexis is such a dummy. I said, girl, you need help. And I was taught, don't ever buy a man shoes. Hi, thank you for the super chat. I hope I don't pronounce your name wrong. Vinrag, did I say it right? Let me know. Thank you. Oh, you're from Sweden. Thank you. Thanks for always entertaining and being so intuitive. Keep Katie. Agree about Alexis being irrational, but maybe she's just another victim of John's psychological abuse. Maybe she is, but I do think that deep down, Alexis is a pick-me because she was like this with her ex-husband, Jim Bellino. She was very much a pick-me for him. She was a pick-me for her ex-fiance. So I think that Alexis is somebody who morphs her personality into whatever man she's dating at the time. I think that Alexis is desperate for men. That's what I think. Yes, if you buy man's shoes, he'll walk right out. Exactly. She really said that like it was a flex. Yeah, I was embarrassed for her. So now, so Alexis says, well, Shannon, just stop because where's the 10 grand necklace that he bought you and all the Louis Vuitton bags? And Shannon said, girl, that man never bought me a $10,000 necklace, so please stop. So Alexis says, yes, he did. I have the receipts. Again, if you had the receipts of this $10,000 necklace, you would have shown them. Alexis is a liar. She's just saying anything to make Shannon look bad, and we're not buying it. Because I can assure you, if she had all these receipts like she claims, she would have posted them up already. So anyhow, we now have Andy reading a viewer question to Heather, and the question reads, does Heather still feel like John wants to be in the spotlight? And Heather says, I have to be honest, I do. So Shannon says, yeah, it's clear that he wants back on TV. And Alexis is upset by that, and she says, no, that's not true. Girl, this man was in a whole confessional with you. He signed the waiver to be on camera in the finale episode. He wants to be seen. And if he wanted to be out of the spotlight, he would not have gotten with you. So again, we're not buying what you're selling. If this man was so opposed to the spotlight and fame, he would not be with you right now. Also, we saw him on all those red carpets with you throughout the year. So please tell me, who are you trying to fool saying that he doesn't want to be back in the spotlight? He does. I'm glad that Heather was honest about that question too. I thought she was going to lie because her and Alexis are friends now. But I'm glad that she said, look, girl, I love you down, but I do think that your man is thirsty to be back on the show. So now we have Andy showing John's last confessional. And so John is saying that their relationship is real. It happened organically. And he was single for a whole year before they met. So while he's saying that, we see Shannon and she's getting pissed off. Shannon says, you got to be kidding me. That's not the truth at all. So now John goes on to say that if they can make it through all the negativity and chaos that folks are throwing, they can make it through anything. So now Andy goes on to say that there was an online sentiment saying that Alexis got with him to get back on the show. Did you notice how Alexis did not answer that question? Because she knows it's true. For Alexis and John, this was both a ploy on both of their parts to get back in the spotlight. And they said, what better way to drum up some controversy and some drama than for us to link up, because we'll have the storyline of the year. And their plan worked. While it backfired because we can't stand them, it did work because she was on the show and she was a pretty central piece to the show and the drama, especially with Shannon. So I think that this was all a ploy and a plot and a plan. It was a scheme that Todd set up to bring us the BS. So now Shannon jumps in and says, look, I don't know what he's talking about, but he was texting me that he still loved me 2 months before he met you. So Alexis tries to downplay it, and she's like, no, well, you were a friend with benefits, girl, and it's okay to be that, but that's all that you were. I said, Alexis, why can't you just be honest that John is a liar? That man was not single for an entire year. He was still dealing with Shannon. What are we talking about here? We saw him all last season. They were still together. He was not with you. He was not single. He was still messing with Shannon. So what are you saying here? So now Emily says, girl, they were together for 5 whole years. That was not a friends with benefits situation. So Alexis says, no, she was not in a relationship with him for 5 years. He broke up with her 2 days before Thanksgiving of 2022. Shannon, there was a missed opportunity for you to whack Alexis, because I would have said, you are awfully invested in the timeline of me and John Janssen's relationship, and you should feel embarrassed. I'll be damned if I'm sitting up there with a spreadsheet with all the dates and all the times. How do you know that? Do you know how pressed you have to be to know when your husband or when your boyfriend was still seeing or still with his ex? Do you know how embarrassing that is on your part? I could never give anybody that kind of satisfaction. Alexis, this whole pick-me behavior at your big grown age, you need to stop. And if he left her right after the accident, doesn't the camera have a timestamp? Yes, they do. She was literally living rent-free in Shannon's head before we even knew it. Yes, she was. Alexis is the friend with benefits. She's stuck at 17. There's like arrested development going on, because this is like, I expect this from somebody who is a teenager, early 20s. I'll give you like late 20s. I'll give you that. But after you get 30, you need to really grow up. And Alexis, you look pathetic to be sitting up there with a whole timeline in a spreadsheet of when this woman got broken up with John. Like you sound crazy. So now Gina and Emily both jump in to defend Shannon. And now Alexis says, Andy, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to deal with 3 people ganging up on me. And I said, oh, okay. But if it were you and Tamara ganging up on Shannon, then it's okay. So because they're sticking up for Shannon, now you want to talk about, oh, I'm not going to do this? Girl, you've been sitting up here trying to set Shannon up since episode 1. I can't stand it. She wants to throw out all this negative energy. Then when it's thrown back to her, a clear case of she can dish it out, but she can't take it. So anyhow, Alexis calls Gina and Emily Tweedledee and Tweedledum, and she says, let me handle Shannon. So when I tell you, Emily really thought she ate, she did her big one. She says, don't you ever call me dumb. You're the dumbest girl I've ever effing met. So I said, okay, Emily, you chewed just a little bit, girl, not too much. I'm not going to give you your 10s, but like you said in the chat, I'm going to give you, your 8.5s. I'm going to give you your 8.5s. That was cute. So now she goes on to say that Alexis is an idiot, and she is an idiot. So I said, again, Emily, I'm going to give you 1.5 points for that because, girl, you cleared. She is. So now Andy's like, let me get this straight. You're saying that he was single for an entire year. And now Shannon jumps in and says, here's the timeline. We broke up Thanksgiving of 2022. You have Alexis interjecting and she says, no, he broke up with you the day after Thanksgiving. I said, once again, Alexis, go and see the lady, please. Because for you to sit up there and fight with her about the timeline of her relationship, which you were not privy to, and also, girl, you were in your own relationship. When Shannon and John were together, you were engaged to somebody else. So do you hear how crazy you sound to be breaking down the intricate details of their relationship when you were with somebody else yourself? Alexis, I would have read you for filth, girl. I would have read you for filth because you look crazy. She needs to go and see the lady for real. Go and see the lady immediately. Please get some help. So now, so Shannon's like, we took trips together. Tamara even knows this. Tamara nods her head in agreement. And now Shannon reveals that they were together every single day from then until 10 days after her DUI. One thing about it, Shannon's story has never wavered about their timeline. She did say that 10 days later, they did break up. So you have now Alexis, how old are we? Are you 16? Alexis says, well, did he ever ask you to be his girlfriend again? Girl, what? I've heard a lot of older people say, like past a certain age, that at a certain point, it kind of sounds dumb to call somebody your boyfriend or your girlfriend, and I understand that. I could definitely see that. It is kind of silly at a certain point to be saying boyfriend and girlfriend. And you know what I'm saying? It's not being ageist, but I've heard several people who are like 40 up who have said that after like a certain age, it just sounds silly to say a boyfriend and girlfriend. So for Alexis to be 3 years shy of 50, talking about, well, did somebody say that, that's your boyfriend or girlfriend? Oh my goodness. Like I've heard people say that they'll just say that they're exclusive, but they're not going to say that that's my boyfriend or girlfriend at that age. They'll just say that they're exclusive. And I can understand that. So now Alexis says, well, I did the same thing with my ex too, because you still love somebody. And Shannon says, baby, I don't really care about that. All I'm telling you is that me and that man were still together. And on top of that, we were still spending the night at each other's houses. We were still having sex. So we were still together. Whether he said that I was his girlfriend or not, we were still like this. We were still locked in. So now I'm with you. Okay, you said you're 40 and it's cringe. At 60, that was his old lady. I'm with you at 46. No one is my boyfriend or girlfriend. I've heard people say partner instead. Yes, I've heard people say partner. But like, yeah, they said that like after like 35, like they stop saying like boyfriend or girlfriend. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. Can I tell you something? Like, I don't care how old I get. Like, I don't think that it's cute to be referred to as like old lady. Like, no, like words are powerful. Don't refer to me like that. I don't think it's cute. Like, I never thought that was like funny when I would like see people say that about their spouse. I'm like, why would you say that about your wife? Like, of all the cute little pet names, like, why would you say your old lady? Like, it's just, I never got into that. No. But yes, I've heard people say that they like they'll say partner instead of boyfriend or girlfriend past a certain age. Um, this whole thing with Alexis and Shannon, I'm not going to hold you guys. My patience was waning. My patience was wearing thin because I just wanted Alexis off my screen. And why are we arguing about Shannon and John's relationship that Alexis was not privy to? It's just dumb. And I wanted Andy to end this section so bad because I was getting more and more annoyed. So now we have they're still going at it. Emily whispers to Tamara. She says, Tamara, how are you still friends with this girl? She's an idiot. And Tamara says, well, she has a heart of gold. And I said, now, Emily, not too much, because you also, you're talking about how is she friends with Alexis, but how are you friends with Tamara? Tamara's also evil. Don't let Alexis and her stupidity fool you. Tamara is still the villain here. So let's not act like Alexis is the one yes, she's horrible, but so is Tamara, because they were both in an alliance together. And Emily, I don't even know why you asked that, because you were sitting up there having a key with Tamara and Alexis earlier on in the season, and now you want to say, oh, how are you friends with her? How can you stand her? Not too much, Emily, not too much. Because you're sitting next to a whole bunch of evil people on that couch, including yourself. So now we have Tamara jumps in and she says, look, at the end of the day, John did pick Shannon up from jail and he did take care of her for 10 whole days. They were still together. So now we have Andy asking the $1 million question. How exactly did Shannon try to destroy John? Because we're all lost. So Alexis says, well, no, it's not about that. It's about her lying about it not being a loan, the money that he gave her for the facelift. So I just said, girl, what are you talking about? So once again, you have Alexis saying that he spent over 300 grand in that relationship. He spent 360. And Shannon says, girl, no, he didn't. So now you have Alexis saying that he actually spent more. He spent 380 plus the 75 grand that he gave her for that facelift. So how do we go from when he spent 350 to now he spent 360 to now he spent 380 plus a 75 grand? So you're telling me that he spent $500,000 in that relationship? So if that's the case, where were Shannon's gifts? Where were the lavish vacations? Shannon said that she paid for everything and she had the receipts to prove it. So how did this man spend all this money when Shannon was the one carrying that relationship on her back financially? I'll wait. Oh, Alexis is such a liar. And I'm so happy that nobody sees it for her. I'm glad that she probably won't be coming back next season. Thank God. So now Andy reads another viewer question asking, why did Shannon assume the loans were gifts? And because it seems very generous given how contentious their relationship was. I'm going to skip past that because, like I just told you guys 20 minutes ago, we're in a relationship, we're together. There's no such thing as a loan. Men, husbands, boyfriends, fiancés give their girlfriends, fiancés, wives gifts all the time, money included, and they're not getting that back. It's a gift. So yeah, that's why Shannon thought that it was a gift, because that was her man. We're not doing this. alone and we're in a relationship, like that's the end of the relationship. We are now business partners if it's alone. But that's what happens when you get with a stingy man. That's why it's not that's why it's not about how much money a man has. It's about if they're generous, if they're considerate. Because if somebody has money and they're stingy, that's the same thing like dating a broke man, or like someone who doesn't want to spend. If they don't want to spend, they have it. It's the same thing as being with somebody broke. It's not worth it. So, John is showing that he was a cheap man with a very tight grip on money. Exactly. A loan. Who said that? The math don't math on any of this show. Exactly. No loans. Listen, y'all. What do they say on TikTok? I might tell you a joke, but I'll never tell you a lie. Okay. So, of course, Alexis interjects about that. I just had to fast forward through this part because, again, I'm not arguing with somebody else about why I expected to keep that money, because that was my man. I'm not giving a man the money back. There's no loan in this relationship. So we're not even doing that. But Shannon says that she thought that it was a gift and not a loan because John cashed in a part of the business that he was in. He got the money from his share. And so Alexis jumps in and says, well, he was the largest shareholder of that business. So Shannon says, no, he was not. He was actually the smallest shareholder because everybody else got $55 million and he only got $5 million. So girls, check that. Now, if he got $5 million when he cashed in his shares from his business, that's really shameful that he would not just let this go as a gift, especially since Shannon was paying for the majority in the beginning of the relationship. So Alexis says, no, that's not true. And Shannon says, girl, I knew that man inside and out. Okay. We were together for 5 years. I know everything about him. So Alexis says, girl, I know everything about him too. And we even saw each other's bank accounts. The pick me alert started going off when I heard that. I said, wait, because my parents, and especially my grandmother, I was raised that you don't tell a man how much money you have. I was raised that if you do talk about finances, if you're making $100,000, tell him that you're making 60. Okay. If you do have to talk about it. If you're making 300,000, tell him that you make 90. You don't ever tell a man how much. Like, it's like, money, what's that? I never heard of it. Like, what? Like, child, lie and say you're working at Payless or somewhere making $7 an hour. You know what I'm saying? But no, in all seriousness, when she said that she showed that man her bank accounts, I said, girl, you weren't raised right. I said, girl, you were not raised right. I said, Alexis gets the clown alert of the day, honey. Am I preaching? If I'm preaching in the chat, put up some of those church hands going up or the prayer emojis, honey. Please, y'all. If you never heard that, if you did not grow up with a praying grandmother, I'm here to tell you, okay, as your big sis, as your cousin, okay, whatever you want to refer to me as, okay, like the cool friend, please do not ever tell a man how much money you have. That was law growing up. Like, they don't need to know. It's none of their business. And my grandma used to always say, they're not marrying you for your money. Okay. So stop. That's none of their business. That's off limits. So the fact that this grown woman who claims that she's just, she's that girl in her pea brain, the fact that she really sat up there and showed that man her bank account, that's a dummy if I ever saw one. Now, if you've made this crucial mistake and you're currently single, do not ever do that again, okay? Don't ever do it again. And I want to talk to one of y'all because I remember a live that I did like 2 years ago, and we were talking about this. It was a really good live. And one of y'all told me that you're a doctor. Now, don't tell me in the chat because I don't want nobody should know your business, okay? You could email me and be like, Brooke, that live, and it's a wink if I was talking to you. But you told me that you were a doctor making, I think you said you were making like 600 grand. Because I have some rich subscribers. Don't get it twisted, honey. Like, my subscriber is doing well. And I said, girl, why are you telling me that? I wanted to wash my eyes out with soap. Because I said, girl, don't tell me. I said, erase this. And you told me that you made the fatal mistake of telling, I think, the man that you were dating or friends. I said, don't you ever do that again, okay? So don't, please, don't say, zip it. If you're dating somebody, tell him you're making 1/10. All right. And that conversation should only be had if it's like approaching marriage. If there's a ring on your finger, there should be a ring on this finger right here. If there's no ring on your finger, you don't need to be talking about your finances. But if there is a ring on your finger and you're approaching marriage, okay, and they ask you about it, you can say, say half of what it is. If you're making 150, say 75. If you're making 200, say, don't even say 100, just say 80. Oh, goodness gracious. And say it like before, like a few days before the wedding, you know what I'm saying? All right, guys, just be smart. Men should not know how much money is in your account. Okay? All right. Y'all said with the date, exactly. My take is Alexis looks at this as a competition. Oh, she does look at this as a competition, for sure. She operates as a woman who looks at other women as competition. Exactly. The vibe from her. I'm still playing dumb as long as the bills are paid. Okay? My grandmother taught me that. I'm going to say it again. Preach. Your man needs to spoil you. Exactly. Yes, never ever show your whole hand. You know how older people always said, you never let your left hand know what your right hand is doing? That's why y'all move in silence in all things. Stop running your mouth. That's why some of y'all are in these problems now, because you're opening your mouth. Nobody has to know. Some things are literally between you and the good Lord and JP Morgan Chase and Bank of America and TD Bank, okay? But please, y'all, Alexis is a straight up dummy. The fact that man knows all her banking details and he knows how much money, idiot. Poker face and poker hands, you and God. Exactly. Yes, honey. Okay. Only between you and JP Morgan Chase. All right. Not me listening to this at the bank. Yes. So, they start talking about the promissory note. Andy wants Emily's opinion about John asking for that after the fact. And Emily says, you can't do that. So now we see a short clip of John talking about the loans. And he says that Shannon told him that she needed the money to pay her bills. And he said, Shannon, I'm going to help you. But because of how volatile our relationship is, I do need you to pay me back. And she said, of course. So he said the first loan that he gave her was $40,000, and she promised to pay it back within 2 months. She didn't do it. We're not even going to have this conversation. That was your girlfriend, sir. You were sleeping with that woman, taking up all her time. There's no such thing as a loan. Y'all were lovers, not business partners. You should feel so embarrassed that you were sitting up here asking her for money back. That's disgusting. So now so he goes on to say that if they go to trial, he has no doubt that he'll win. And we have Shannon crying. She says that it's insane to her because she can't believe that he's saying this. So she says, you know what? I don't want to cry because John Janssen is not worth my tears. And I said, girl, absolutely. He's not worth your tears. And I would not give him or Alexis the satisfaction of seeing you getting riled up about it. So now Emily brings up, she's confused because Shannon did make the full offer of $70,000. So why did he deny the offer? So Alexis says, well, he denied it because of the non-disparagement agreement, and she can still trash him. So Gina says, so now Gina jumps in and she's like, well, why didn't he wait to sue Shannon until after the season was over? So even Andy co-signs on that too and says, well, that would make sense as well. So he goes on to say that since the show's over and she's offered the money, is there any chance that she could offer it again? And so Alexis says, yeah, like offer the money again. So now Shannon says, girl, according to my lawyer, do you honestly think that this man is going to get the full amount after what's been shown and what he's done to me? Absolutely not. I said, girl, please whack her again. But on her Instagram page, after the season wrapped, she did show that she paid him. So it is what it is. As long as Shannon has peace, I really hope that she's learned a valuable lesson to stop getting with bums, grifters, leeches, and men who are cheap, because this is what will happen to you. You'll have a grown man asking you for money back once the relationship is over. I hope she does not make this mistake again. So now Heather, I don't understand what Heather thought she was doing when she asked this, but she jumps in and she says, Jen and Katie, may I ask you guys, since you guys have gotten close to Alexis, have you guys found out any information? What do you guys think about the situation? Now I said, hold on, Heather. You were just sitting up there cursing Katie out, bringing up her case that happened to her 10 years ago, how she lost her kids. And now you want to glean information from her about her and Alexis? Like, no, if I were Katie, I wouldn't have answered, because one, I don't have a dog in this fight. And two, who are you to question me about anything after you berated me several hours ago about a very sensitive topic? Just weird. And I felt like, Heather, what does this have to do with anything anyway? Jen and Katie are not involved in this. So again, that was just so dumb. She should have gone to court. She wins and he pays her legal fees. I said the same thing. I'm on the same page as you. Heather is a snake. Heather wants to make Jen and Katie look like bad friends. Yes, she does. How did Shannon meet Johnny J? I forgot. I have to go back and rewatch the season that she met him. Heather made herself look like a dummy. She did. Heather really tried it. I hated the way they treated Katie. I did too. Heather, why would Katie tell you the truth now? Yes, and that's what I said on Bluesky. I'm not on Twitter anymore. I'm on Bluesky. Follow me on Bluesky. Same username and everything. But I said that when the episode aired. I said, you just call this woman a liar in every which way, and now all of a sudden you want the truth from her now? If she's a liar, then why would you believe her and what she has to say about this whole situation between Alexis, Shannon, and John? Like, I'm not understanding that. If I thought that somebody was a liar, I'm not asking for any of their input about anything. But that's just me. So now they give their opinions. Jen says that she did ask John at dinner one night about the timing, how it looks suspicious. And you have Emily jumping in, and Emily says, yeah, I said that too. I said that a long time ago. Emily, we don't care. Do you guys notice that every time Jen speaks, Emily, baby, that jealousy jumps out. She cannot stand that woman. For her to jump in and say, well, I already said that. Okay, girl, do you want a cookie? We don't care. Just very weird. So they're still talking about the loan, and Emily's like, why didn't he ask for the money right after they broke up? Why would he wait? So Alexis claims that he did ask for the money right after they broke up. And Shannon says, girl, he never said that. He never asked me about this money until now. So Alexis still says that, no, they were in negotiations right after. And now Emily calls it out and she says, girl, that's a lie, because Shannon got the demand letter in January when we were still filming, and they broke up in September. So that's a long time. That's like, what, 4 or 5 months between when they broke up? So it's apparent that he did this for screen time and some attention, because if he did, she had her Shannon got the DUI in early September. If he wanted that money so badly, he would have pressed her about it right after they broke up. For him to wait for 4 or 5 months to ask for the money back, that was clearly for attention. Emily used to be my favorite. Emily. Oh, girl, I never liked Emily. Never. Oh my gosh, she just grated on my nerves from day one. Alexis is so gullible. Yeah, no, you know what? It's not that. No, she's not gullible. She's a pick-me. And pick-me's are going to always side with their man no matter what. That man could cheat on them in front of their faces, and they'll still say, oh no, like, no, he just bumped into her. They could catch their man in bed with somebody else. They still be like, oh my gosh, no, like, I shouldn't have walked into the room. It was my fault. Like, Alexis is a weirdo. She is desperate for that man. She wants any piece of a man any way she can get it. She's not gullible. She's desperate. I never saw it for Emily. So now they bring up the videos and how a lot of us viewers felt like it was extortion, and they show Andy shows what John said about it. So John says, let me be clear about the videos. I had no intention of anybody ever seeing them. So if that's the case, then why did you threaten Shannon on national TV saying that if Shannon did not pay him that money back, and if she did not stop talking about him, he was going to release the videos? Him and Alexis both said that. So now all of a sudden you're talking about, I never had any intention of exposing those videos. Stop. Just stop lying. So now Shannon says that she has videos of him too. And she explains about what went down that night. She says that they were in a fight. He calls her a drunken idiot. She got in her car, and that's what happened. So now Jen's like, I don't understand why we're still discussing these videos anyway. And I said, exactly. First of all, and Shannon, I told you this when that episode aired. I'm gonna be so real. If somebody ever wanted to expose me with videos or whatever, you would never get a dime out of me. I would never be afraid. Expose it. Because I'll gladly make a video, saying, okay, yeah, and I'm going to take it to the court system, and I'm going to get justice. You could never sit up here and extort me ever. You could never, in the words of Funky Dineva, you could never spray me with my own tea. I will never be blackmailed by anybody. So if you think that you're going to get some money out of me, and no, ma'am, no, sir. So when Shannon was crying about those videos coming out, I said, Shannon, let the videos come out. We'll still be on your side because, first of all, we already know about the DUI. We know how bad it was. So the videos wouldn't be showing anything different. We still know, we know what happened. You've owned up to what you did 100%. You've taken responsibility. You've taken accountability. You've shown remorse. So we'd still be on your side, sis. We'd be looking at him like, are you serious? Like, you're an idiot. You're a clown for this. That's why I was kind of confused as to why Shannon was so shook up about these videos being shown. Because I'm like, girl, they're already talking about you like a dog. We already know what happened. We're on your side. We all forgive you as a collective for the most part. So I'm like, let them show the video. I don't know. That was a mess. But John is a liar because he was threatening that woman about exposing these videos, him and Alexis. So now they want to backpedal and backtrack. No, ma'am. So now you have Alexis getting questioned about the videos and her talking about it. And she says that it wasn't easy for her to film with Shannon. And then she says that she had no idea that she was on camera when she talked about the videos. When you guys went to Big Bear, to Tamara's house, you were talking about exposing the videos. You knew that you were being filmed. You had your mic pack on, sis. So what are you talking about? My thing is this, just own it. Just own it. Just say, you know what? I was threatening to expose these videos because I wanted to hurt Shannon. I'd have more respect for you, Alexis, if you just be honest. But now you want to lie and say, oh no, I was not going to expose it. And I didn't even know that I was on camera being filmed. Like, what are we talking about? she made a mistake. We're all humans. Show the videos and give him $5. Exactly. He also still dated her after he claimed she almost ran over his daughter. So what's that say about him? Clock it. Please clock it. Exactly. She's a liar for the sake of being on this show. She is. I think Shannon paid because she knows what they are about. She basically cut losses and put a muzzle on Johnny J. You're right. They're the older versions of Tom Sandoval and Rachel. Yes. The TV star didn't know she was being filmed. Girl, bye. She tries to act dumb, but she literally is so dumb. It gives me a headache. She thinks that we're as dumb as she is. She does. Exactly. Like, listen, say what you want. We have all had bad moments in our lives. And we've been blessed that we were not on a reality TV show when things took place. We all have moments on our lives that, God forbid, if somebody went into our memory bank and put them on a projector screen, we would literally die of embarrassment. There are embarrassing moments that I have in my life where I'm like, oh my gosh, if anybody ever found out about this, I would literally like, shout out to everybody, I'm done. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we've all had horrible moments. Everybody, if you haven't, then you're either lying or you never done anything. You must be, right, Jesus Jr., because I don't know about you, but we've all had, I'm talking about some crazy moments where we've all showed our asses in whatever shape, way, or form. We have all had some moments where we all have moments where it's like, there's some stuff that is so embarrassing, or it's just so like, why did I do that? Why, like, some decisions that I've made where I'm like, when I think about it to this day, I'm like, oh my gosh, why did I do that? Like, it's too embarrassing to talk about that I can only talk about it with God. Like, I can't, like, you can't even tell your mom. It's like, and as understanding, as cool as me and my mom are, there are still some things where it's like, I can't even, you get what I'm saying? It's like that. There's no cousin or friend that you want to talk about it with. We've all had those moments. So that's why if they showed the videos, it'd be like, okay, girl, like, we're on your side still, Shannon, girl. It's okay. Because we have all had a time or two or 10 or 20, Yes. A real human experience. Okay, listen. Listen, everybody has crashed out before. Everybody has crashed out a time or two. Okay. And it's like, thank God that nobody saw this except me, that other person, or the other two people. And, then it's like, okay, it's so long ago that if somebody did talk about it, they wouldn't even believe them anyway. Everybody has had some crash out moments before. And also, listen, life is long, okay? So, who's to say that you might not ever have another crash out moment ever again? Okay, listen, I stopped saying never about certain stuff because you could always crash out again. So again, Shannon, it's gonna be okay, and we would not have judged you or gone on you had they released the videos, because we're that's wrong on his part to do that. So now Shannon says, so Alexis says that she's not going to apologize for defending her man. And I said, it's okay, Alexis. You want to sit up here and go out sad for a loser, then be my guest. You guys can both be losers together, but you should feel embarrassed. So honestly, this segment between Shannon and Alexis went too long. I feel like I'm saying the same things now. So we can kind of like skip over this because it's just the same conversation with Alexis still sounding stupid, and I was really just done. So now Andy addresses Alexis saying that at the beginning of the season that she wanted to be amicable with Shannon, and Alexis says, well, that was the goal, but the goal failed, like it didn't happen. And I said the reason why things went south between you and Shannon, because it's because of you. You were the one who treated Shannon so poorly. You talked about this woman like a dog every chance you got. So blame yourself. Don't sit up here and act like Shannon did something to you. You started with her. What's not clicking up here? My sister and I have a saying, never let us speak of this again. Exactly. Exactly. So now Andy goes on to ask, what's the goal now between her and Shannon? So Alexis gives this roundabout answer saying, well, if Katie and Heather can be amicable, and Heather and Katie both say, girl, that did not happen, like, let's not do that. So now Andy says, well, obviously you want to coexist with her. And Alexis says, yeah. Shannon says, no, thank you, I'm done. We're past all that. That moment has gone. She says, bye-bye. Please let the friend go. I said, get her again, Shannon. So the segment is finally over and they dismiss Alexis. I said, oh God, won't he do it? Thank you, Jesus, because I can't stand Alexis. Let this be the last time we ever see her. So they take a break. Shannon is talking to her glam squad about how she cannot believe what John was saying about her in those interviews. She's livid, but the worst part is finally over. So now they get back on the stage and they get back on the stage from their break and it's the last few minutes of the reunion. So Emily says, I just have a question. I want to question Jen quickly. So I was taken aback. I said, wait, what is she about to question Jen about? Because this segment was all about Shannon and Alexis. So why is Jen in this? So Emily says, Jen, I'm just confused because when you refer to Tamara, you say that I don't subscribe to mean girl behavior, but yes, you do when you hang out with Alexis. I said, Emily, we're talking about mean girl behavior. Your whole demeanor this season, you were trying to be Tamara Jr. Are you insane? How are you questioning Jen about mean girl behavior when you yourself have been trying to follow behind your leader, Tamara? And also, Jen has every right to call Tamara a mean girl. Tamara threw a napkin in her face last season. Did you forget about that? She was talking about Ryan with the FBI. She wore the FBI hat, laughing and gloating, saying that she was right and she can't wait for all this to go down. Is that not mean girl behavior? And I was happy when Jen said, well, girl, I said that about Tamara because that's the truth. And also, I just met Alexis, so it's a bit different for me. So Emily's like, well, that doesn't matter because she's just mean. And I said, again, you don't have a leg to stand on. Emily, and also, and this is what really bothered me. Emily, the way you were on Jen all season long, calling her Malibu broke Barbie, calling her stupid, you called her an idiot. You were riding that woman from beginning, middle, and end about her finances, calling her everything but a child of God, but yet you want to question her about why she feels like other people on this cast who've also treated her poorly are mean. Jen should have read you down because I would have said, first of all, who are you to question me about anything? And the same woman who is calling me broke every chance you got, you want to talk about mean girl behavior? Are you serious? Emily needs to go and see the lady immediately. She needs help. And I just think that her obsession with Jen, I'm scared by it because that's that Yolanda and Selena. You know what I'm talking about? Like that jealousy runs deep. I mean, all jealousy runs deep, but Emily's jealousy of Jen is scary. I keep an eye on that. If I were Jen, I would not want to be in a room with her by myself. That woman is diabolical. And if she could jump into Jen's skin, she would do it in a minute. It's just weird. I didn't like her questioning that. Jen has every right to call Tamra mean because Tamra's been horrible to her. So now Andy calls out, how come Emily hasn't called out Tamara and Heather for their mean girl behavior, and how they've aligned themselves with Alexis too, because they're also friends with her as well. So Emily says, well, I did. I questioned them earlier on in the reunion. I said, how are you friends with her? I said, girl, you only made that little comment to the side when Andy was talking to Alexis and Shannon. That's not any big questioning. Also, have that same energy for the both of them too. Why are you just questioning Jen? The reason why is because you're jealous of Jen. That's why you want to question her. But keep that same energy for Tamra and Heather, because they're closer to Alexis than Jen is to Alexis. Alexis and Heather are like this. So question Heather. I was just irritated by that. But Emily says that she has an issue with people being complicit in mean girl behavior. I said, that's you. You've been complicit all season long. And I wish that Andy would really get on Emily about her behavior. I will say, despite Emily not having a storyline, it would have been nice if Andy had done a whole segment about the real reason why she's been so horrible to Jen this season. And I sent in a really good question for Emily. My question for her was, Emily, why are you so threatened by Jen? Is it because of jealousy? Because you don't have the same smoke for other people. And I wish that he had read that question. But Emily got off way too easy, in my opinion, because her behavior this season was deplorable. So now you have Shannon saying that she appreciates Emily saying that about how Alexis has been a mean girl. And now Andy interjects and he says, as the reunion went on, he noticed that Tamra and Shannon were softening up to each other. And Shannon starts crying and says that she did notice that when she was getting emotional watching the John segment, Tamra did acknowledge her pain and she was giving her some looks. So Shannon says, I just want to hug you right now. They get up and hug. Tamra, it's the same old song and dance. She says, I miss you so much and I just want to move on. Can we just try and move on, please, this time? And I said, Tamra, you're the one who starts this. Every single year, you always bash Shannon, and then you cry and give this weak apology. And I love how Jen calls it out. She says it's the same thing with Tamra. She says she makes an excuse about her bad behavior, blames it on her being hurt, and then it's the same old thing. Wash, rinse, repeat. Shannon, I'm going to just say this. Season 19, the next time Tamra stabs you in the back, I'm off this crazy ride. It's been the same thing with you and Shannon, you and Tamra and Vicky since you've gotten on this show in season 9. You guys have this really toxic dynamic and I can't do it anymore. If you like it, then great. But I'm not going to sit up here and go to bat for you when you're going to keep forgiving somebody and trying to make amends to somebody who has so much hate in their heart. After Tamra aligned with your enemy, Alexis, she called you a drunk several times, called you a liar, made fun of your DUI. She was laughing about these videos being spread. That is not a friend. That is somebody who has a lot of hate in their heart towards you. And after that, there would be no friendship. Tamra would be lucky if she got a hello out of me and maybe a how are you. But for you to sit up there and try to work things out again, I said, I'm done. I want off this ride. I want off this ride because you do this every single year. You always say, I'm never going to be friends with her. It's been too bad. And then you fall for the tears. I don't understand the hold that Tamra has on you. It's the same thing over and over. Yeah, it's annoying. If Shannon goes back to the Tres Amigas mentality, she'll lose her fans. I agree. She has no real fight in her. Shannon seems like it takes her a while to recognize somebody who's hateful towards her. Well, she needs to recognize it quickly. Shannon is too grown for this. Wasn't Emily friends with Alexis? Yes, she was. She was. And then she, turned on Alexis after what? She turned on her, I guess, when they were on the London trip. No. Her and Alexis got into that fight at Jen and Ryan's house when they had that cute little like taco night and they got into it. She called her a wackadoodle. That's when they got into it. That's when their friendship went south. But yeah, I wasn't here for this rekindling of a friendship between Tamara and Shannon. I don't want to see it. And Shannon, I'm no longer going hard in the paint for you when it comes to Tamara. You obviously like all this chaos and confusion, but that's great. But I'm not going to sit up here and, get all invested in this because you obviously want this toxic cycle. So now we have Shannon saying that, so now it's time for their final thoughts. Shannon says that she's glad that the season is over. She doesn't want anybody to feel sorry for her, but it was difficult to get through this season. And yeah, it was a lot. Now, Shannon, my genuine hope for you is that for season 19, I need to see you having fun. I want to see smiles. I don't want to hear about any DUIs. I don't want to hear about any breakups. I don't want to hear about you arguing with any man about money. I don't want to hear about nothing sad. Shannon, since the time you got on this show in season 9, it has been problem after problem after problem after problem. The infidelity with David, your ex-husband, the weight gain, you had a meltdown about that, finding out that David was cheating on you. And that, it's just, since you got on this show, it's been 10 seasons of you just losing it. We've seen you cry and just, you're falling apart. It needs to be fun, love, and light. I want to see you dancing and it needs to be that. I don't want to see any fallouts with you. I want to see you being the peacemaker, getting along with everybody. I want you to have a drama-free season. I don't know how you can have all this strife in your life it's too much. The bus ride from hell. Yes, it's too much with that. Yes, when Heather tried to get her committed to the psych ward, like Shannon has really had a rough go on this show and I can't take it anymore. Shannon needs to be having the time of her life for the next 5 seasons. We've watched Shannon through 2 lawsuits, a divorce, the aftermath of the divorce, the meltdown when she gained the weight, the mental breakdowns, Heather trying to have her committed. Like it's too much. Like I can't do it anymore. I need her to have a good season. So Shannon, I'm telling you right now, if it's another hard season, you and I are going to have some issues. And I'm going to give you a side eye. Like, do you enjoy having problems? Because there are some people who are not used to being happy and subconsciously they enjoy having problems and mess. They don't, like, peace is boring to them. So if you do have a stressful season 19, then I'm going to know that you subconsciously enjoy having problems and issues. But next season, I don't want to see any tears from Shannon. Somebody else can cry, but it better not be Shannon. So Shannon says that she found a lifeline with everybody on the cast. Tamara says that she's leaving here happy, did not expect the reconnection with her and Shannon. I said, okay, girl. So she says that she wants to move forward, be in a better place, and she did not like herself this season because she was in so much pain. I said, so what's your excuse for the last 15 seasons that you've been on this show? You've been in pain your entire life because the misery in you to be so hateful to other people, there's something wrong. You have some real internal issues. But the only reason why you care about moving forward and trying to do the work and go to therapy is only because the backlash and the fans wanting to get you fired. Now you care. But believe me, if we were all on Tamara's side, there would be no talks about her trying to change or reconcile or going to get help. She'd be the same hateful person. But I don't buy this new act of her trying to, get help. And girl, you can go and see all the ladies and I still won't buy it because you're only doing this because you just want to keep your job and you don't want the fans to hate you. That's all this is. Why can't Dr. Moon find her happy spot? Yes. Yes, honey, please. Dr. Moon needs to come and help her out because the remedies aren't working. Yes, she needs to go see all the ladies. Shannon is a walking, talking Bravo storyline. Yeah, that's the only reason why Tamra overplayed her hand. She thought that we'd be on her side and not Shannon's. I noticed that too, but Andy and the producers coaching Tamra to keep her orange. Absolutely. Oh yeah, Heather tried to have Shannon committed on her first season of the show. That was season 9. She tried to have her committed right then and there. It was a mess. So now we have Emily saying that she's in a great space with everybody. I said, Emily, shut up. This needs to be Emily's last season. And then we have, who else? Oh, Heather says that she's happy that they found some resolve. Doesn't mean that everybody's best friends, but she's happy that they're all able to talk to each other and talk it through. So, Katie, I don't need you to start ass kissing now, because what Heather and Emily did to you in that first part of the reunion was diabolical. For them to dig up that information of when you were without a home and lost custody of your kids, why are you thanking Heather for Heather saying, oh, I'm sorry to hear that? Remember when Heather said to her, oh yeah, I'm sorry that happened. Like, that must have been tough. Why are you thanking Heather for saying that? That was a very dry response that Heather gave you anyway. There was no emotion in her voice. She just said that to not look bad. But I would not be thanking Heather for saying that she was sorry to hear about that information about her losing her kids. And then Heather can't even be gracious. She's like, oh, like, yeah. And I just said, girl, you just hate this woman so much. Like, I'm just confused. You have all this smoke for Katie, but where's all this smoke for Emily and Tamra, who got on you last season and this season? Emily accused you of body shaming her when you didn't. Tamra turned the whole group against you last season, but yet you forgave them like that. But yet you want to be that mad at Katie about the whole paparazzi thing? Girl, stop. I was too done. But I said, Katie, why are you sitting up there thanking her for anything? Don't thank her. There was nothing to thank about that. She wasn't even sincere when she came up to you saying, oh, I'm sorry to hear about your kids. Girl, Katie wants to fit into the group. She does, but I don't need that. Katie had a good season, but a lackluster reunion. She should have. I can't even read today. I'm sorry, y'all. She should have reciprocated the left couch the same energy they gave her. I agree with that. I would have paid them duds. Now, I do think that Katie will be coming back after what happened in this reunion, especially finding out about that case that happened with her and that driver 10 years ago and her losing her kids and being homeless. I do think that Katie saved her spot. I think that Emily and Heather, as evil as that was for them to do that, they low-key saved Katie's spot, because I had heard that production did not want Katie back. But I do feel like this reunion turned it around for Katie. And because the viewers were all on Katie's side after what happened, I won't be surprised if Katie's spot is back and her orange is secured. Heather has no idea what it's like being a single mom, fighting for your kids and a place to live. She needs to buy some empathy. Katie should have stood on business, called Kay. Exactly. The way Emily broke her neck to look at Heather when she heard Katie say that. Yes, she did. They all need to find an okay place so they don't become Jersey. I agree. Yes, it did make her more relatable. I want Katie back. So now we close out with Andy giving them a gift from the NFL, because remember how they had that flag football event earlier this season? The NFL sent them jerseys. So now we close it out with them toasting to a good season. And they had like mocktails for Shannon and Gina, and then they had espresso martinis for everybody else. So now, just when you think that it's over, we see a clip of, I think, 36 hours after the reunion. I'm not going to hold you guys. This last scene wasn't any big shocker to me. Like, I didn't really care. We didn't need this. But we see them all I think they're at Emily's house, and they're all talking about the latest gossip from John Janssen. So I guess they were at dinner with John. Heather was at dinner with John. And he's saying that she says that John spilled some tea, saying that allegedly Shannon punched him when she was drunk, right before the DUI. So Shannon's crying and she says, yeah, I heard that too. Folks said that I hit him or I punched him. And I said, we're still talking about this DUI. Let it go. Shannon has already atoned for it. She's already apologized, taken full accountability. Shannon, I don't know why you're so crying about this. This man is a loser. Let this go. And I don't know why Bravo felt like we needed to see this. It was boring. It wasn't anything salacious or interesting. I didn't care. It was puff piece after the reunion. Exactly. They could have kept the last part. It was so boring. They did this pickup scene to soften Tamara and Heather's image. It was so phony. Oh, that's a good point. So Heather can have dinner with Alexis, but Jen and Katie, who just met her, can't. Exactly. Tamara and Heather held on to this secret for 4 months. Yeah, it was such a BS scene. It was such a BS scene. I just said, okay. But and I said, listen, any man asking me for his money back, I would have punched him out too. So Shannon, if you did punch him, girl, it's okay. I'm joking. But not really. I didn't like how they left Jen and Katie out. Yeah, it was very hateful. I didn't like how they left them out either. That was definitely a way to signal that they are the OGs and the veterans, and Jen and Katie are the newbies and they don't like them. That was clear. And we know how jealous Emily is of Jen. So she damn sure was not inviting Jen to her house. So I'm not surprised. But yeah, that last scene was a waste of time. I said, can we just end this once and for all? But yeah, they give Shannon a big hug at the end. You have Tamara saying that Shannon is a human being and they all love her. And that's where it ends. But y'all, that was my Real Housewives of Orange County, season 18, reunion part 3 recap. And that's what happened. Like I told you guys in the beginning, we didn't need this third part. I don't think that we need every reunion to be 3 parts. I think we're good with 2 parts. This last scene felt so filler. I didn't need to see Alexis. I didn't care. But y'all, we did it. If I had to rate this season, I would give it a 10. This was a perfect this was a great season. I think that despite it all, every single episode, I had something to say. Despite all the stupidity with Tamara and Heather and Alexis, it was a really great season overall. And Jen and Shannon got the last laugh and they won. They won in the end, and I'm happy for it. Happy for the both of them. But great season. We did not need 3 parts of the reunion, but nonetheless, OC is back, y'all. OC gave us a season. Now, it looks like SLC is about to top them because SLC has been phenomenal. We have not had a filler or lackluster episode yet. And Beverly Hills looks like she's about to give us the same exact treatment. We're going to be fed, especially by Dorit. But yeah, it was a great season. I want everybody back except for Emily and Gina. I want them both gone. I can't stand either one of them. Heather could be demoted as a friend of, to be honest, because Heather, as hard as I've rode for you like since you got on the show, I've always been a huge Heather stan. The way you disappointed me this season, girl, I mean, you really showed out. But then again, you know what? I rewatched season 9 again, and it was all there. You never liked Shannon. You were always there to set her up. So your true colors showed a long time ago, and for whatever reason, I turned a blind eye to it. But you've always been very nice, nasty, very sneaky. I don't want Alexis back. Emily needs to go. Get rid of Gina, Emily, and demote Tamara and Heather. Well, they're not going to demote Tamara, so I'm not even going to say that because they're going to keep Tamara. But Heather could be a friend of, because what does Heather bring us? Heather brings us nothing except renovating a new house. And that's fun. I mean, that's cute and all, and I'm happy for you, but we need more than that. We don't get her real life. We're not getting the real ins and outs of her marriage. It's like all these very surface level scenes. Lizzie would be great. I would love to get Lizzie back. Oh, you said shove Gina like she did her boyfriend. Oh, Heather acts like she wasn't a walk-on for Married with Children. She acts like she has awards. Child, the Reeds. I wonder who will be the center of the drama next season. I think that Jen will probably be the center of attention and the drama because of her getting married to Ryan. I'm sure that Emily, if she's back, unfortunately, I'm sure that Emily and Gina and Tamara will try to dig stuff up on Ryan before Ryan and Jen make it to the altar. I won't be surprised. Back in the day, Shannon was her competition. She was, because Shannon had that huge house too with the basketball court. I remember that. Oh my gosh, yes, why didn't they bring up Heather telling Terry not to admonish her? Exactly. I was waiting for that too. Yep, Heather, she can't flex on them. Exactly. That's why Heather is the definition of she wants to be the big fish in the small pond. On OC, she's it. On Beverly Hills, not so much. That's why every time they talk about, oh, would you ever go to Beverly Hills? She's like, oh, I mean, like I'm good with OC right now because yeah, they would eat her up on Beverly Hills. Please. So those are my thoughts on it. But yeah, overall, OC 8. And a special thank you to you guys, because a lot of y'all told me that you had not watched OC before and you took my advice to watch, and you guys like OC too. And I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you all for trusting me, because I will not steer you wrong. But yeah, I've watched OC since the beginning. I've always loved them, always been a favorite franchise of mine. So I'm glad for all of the new OC watchers. I'm glad that you liked it. And I keep telling y'all, OC, she's top 2, top 3 when it comes to consistent storylines, drama. Like, OC is many things, but they do bring it. Yep, OC is one of my top 5 cities. Exactly. It's always been a hot mess. It wasn't Shannon's wealth. It was being in with Tamara. Yes. Oh, I started watching because of you. Oh, good. I'm so happy to hear that. If Jen is watching her videos, her reads for Emily will be lethal. Emily will leave, child. She'll leave her alone then. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, let me read the super chats that I missed. Thank you, Lydia Toulouse, for the super sticker. Thank you, Miss J, for the super chat. John and Alexis need to go back on the Dollar Tree store shelf. Yes. Hey, DM Rocks, thank you for the super chat. Hey, Tamara and Emily are mean girls more than Alexis. Plus, Alexis threw the party for Jen. Exactly that. So Emily's argument made no sense. Been watching OC since Vicky's original face. Yup. What are we going to do about Roni? Nothing. I'm not watching New York anymore, y'all. I let New York go. I gave New York up to God. New York is above me now. They're not bringing anything, y'all. They are not bringing anything. I really got into Housewives because of you. Oh my gosh, thank you. What about Married to Medicine? I think it's going to be nice to just watch a show and not have to review it or write notes. Married to Medicine, I might just watch it and not review it, y'all. It's too many shows on. We have too many shows on. I can't fit another show on the schedule right now. I have to be so honest. I'm sorry. Maybe I'll pop in here and there with Married to Medicine, but yeah, right now I can't fit another show on the schedule. But guys, I'm going to end it right here. Thank you all for joining me. I love y'all. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all later. And don't forget, Beverly Hills is on tonight, and then SLC tomorrow. I'm like, wait, remember when we used to get a break during the holiday week? I'm like, my God, they want us working up until Thanksgiving Day. But y'all, in all seriousness though, love you guys, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye guys. Love y'all.